would you like some unusual tricks to discover how to actually self-care? Like, I'm talking actual self-care, not like, here's some beauty things that you need to do, and we're going to sell you some products, and we're going to use self-care because it sounds really good. And then we can pull on those emotional strings and have you buy this product. I'm talking about actually caring for you in such a way that you walk through the world nourished, revitalized, nurtured, and caring for you as a being on this planet. That's the kind of self-care I want to talk about today with you. So here's some tricks. Here's some tips. Let's go to number one. Number one, this is the work piece. And if you watch any of my videos, I'm often saying, make a list, not because I just want you to use up paper, but because actually writing this stuff down can create a greater awareness for you. So here is your list item. I want you to make a list of all the things about you that you care about. Now, let me explain a little bit. Have you ever looked to someone and oh, here's a great example. Someone you care for, a friend, a partner, maybe you have a child, maybe you've worked with kids, and there's certain things, certain traits, certain aspects of them that you care for. You think that they are wonderful. It could be, oh, this person is always, they're always learning more. That's something really important to them. Or, oh my gosh, I really love that this person has like the silkiest, nicest, most beautiful hair I've ever seen. What are these things that you care about in others, that you value, but you're going to look at it for you. Okay. So you can be like, oh, I really love that I keep going no matter what. That's something really cool about me. And you care about that trait. I write that down. I really care about having awesome hair. That would be on my list. Write that down. Maybe you don't care about awesome hair. That's fine. Don't put it on your list. I really care about the earth. And I like that trait of mine. I like the trait, and I care about my caring for the earth. Maybe you have volunteer work that is really important to you. Okay. Maybe your family is on that list. But what I'm looking at is, instead of going out here, you're going to use these things to create your list for you. This is a different way of using your brain to discover some of your self-care choices that you can make that might be different than what the beauty industry or the motivational industry is trying to get you to look at. This question is designed to kind of like tweak your brain a little bit so that you can go deeper into your consciousness to discover some of these areas that are really going to make you feel nurtured, that are really going to have that sense of you are cared for. Maybe food is a big thing for you. Maybe you love it when you take the time to cook a really, whatever healthy is for you, meal. Maybe you love your gift with music. Maybe it's dance. What is it? What is it for you? These things that you care about regarding you. Now, if you're having a hard time writing this list, then there might be some deeper things going on here that we can look at in another video, where you might be very depleted in the self-care world. And that's okay. That's something that you can build over time. Trust me, I've done it. Okay. And I've helped others. But right now we're looking at these things that you care about with you. So it's this list, and you're going to look at, what do you care about you? And with that, it can be stuff that maybe you have fallen off with, but it is something really valuable to you. And we want to add that back to the list. So maybe it used to be you would run every morning and you got kids, you got busy, you stopped doing the thing. Okay. We're going to add that back on the list. I'm not going to make you do everything on this list. This is a list for you to build and to actually keep building. I would love for this list to have 100, 1,000 things on it one day. You're going to have this list of the things that you care about regarding you, so that if you were to kind of describe traits to someone that you really adored, these are the things you would say. Like you were, writing a beautiful birthday letter to your best friend. I love the way you laugh. I love the way that you, even if you're really busy, you'll stop and give your kid a hug. I love these things about you. These are things that I care that you have as traits. I care that they exist as you as a being. Okay. So this list might take a little bit of time. Please be willing to nurture it, to be with it, to look at yourself. You might have to step out and look at yourself from that caring person that you are for others. What are these things that you care about? What are these traits? What are these ways of living, these ways of being that you care about for you? Okay. I think I described that the best way I could at this time. And just let whatever flows out, right? Just write it down and see. You might even be surprised at what shows up. So that's the step one. That's the first trick. Number two is I'm going to ask you to make a demand to treat the things on this list as precious. Precious. Just as you would never want. Think of a child, right? And there's certain things that you would just never want to destroy in a child. Like maybe a child has such a sense of wonder or such an incredible capacity with creativity. Maybe they have just such kindness. And these are things you would never want to see destroyed in that child. It would be devastating to you. I would like you to apply that to yourself with this list, where you would go, I would never want to destroy my capacity to love the earth. I would treat that as precious. I would never want to destroy that joy of learning. I would never want to destroy these particular gifts, okay? And you're going to make that demand right now with me, but also when you're done this list, that you're going to start treating these things as precious no matter what is going on. It does not matter. These are more precious than anything. These are vital to the survival of the species of planet Earth. Like that's how important I want you to make the things on this list that you care so deeply and fully about, that you would be willing to fight for them if you had to, but you will not have to. Because the moment that you put them as such, the requirement to fight will actually disappear. That's kind of the magic trick of this second one, is when you commit to you commit to your living as you, these things, these aspects of your being, which is what is actually what this list is about, start to become the most precious thing to you. And nurturing those things is where we get to the self-care piece. Okay. So here's the next one is the nurturing piece. Please don't wait until you get depleted to pull out this list. Please don't wait until you are self-loathing, you feel weak and pathetic, you are destroyed or feel broken. You can never actually be destroyed, but you feel destroyed and you feel broken before you take care of this. I would like you to set this up so that you have this, like from this moment into all futures, that this is a way of being with yourself now. This is a self-care. You could call it practice. You could call it way of living, way of functioning, way of being. And we'll also talk about when you hit that depleted, because that still might show up. What I'm asking is, in this commitment to this being the most valuable, the most precious thing in your life, you're going to set up so that this is tended to continuously from here on. Just as you would have to tend to a garden, right? If you had a greenhouse where there was a roof so sunlight can get in, but also there's no water source, there's no outside sources, and you just left it for 10 years and you walked back in, you can't expect to have this vibrant, lush garden full of vegetables and thriving items, right? Well, you are your own garden. And these different aspects that you have on this list are the plants in that garden. Real self-care is caring for those things in all the seasons that they go through and all the transitions that they're going to go through all along the way. And that care will change just as it does with the earth. So there are certain times where that garden will require more water. And there's certain times when that garden will require more sunlight, more shade, different elements, different soils, okay? Tending to this list is what is the self-care practice, rituals, routines, whatever it is that resonates with you. And so now that you actually have the list, you can institute the self-care a lot easier. But what we want to do first is kind of how we're told is, here's a list of things that you could do for self-care. And then you're supposed to just add them to your life as though they tend to these particular things. Like, here's water, soil, and sunlight. And now, like, the plants are supposed to arrive. No, it's a little bit backwards. Actually getting clear on, so writing is something that I really care about. I really care about my capacity to write. And that starts to become something that's on your list. Something precious to you is that capacity to write. So then when you're looking at self-care, you would schedule in time to tend to that writing. You would make it important to you to nurture that writing and in the way that it shows up for you. And now here, in the way that it shows up, is you being aware of the seasons and what's required in the seasons of your life, the transitions of your life. Because deciding, well, self-care means writing, so I need to write every day. And if I forget to journal, then I'm doing a crappy job of caring for myself. That's going out of actually being present with the season. There are times where a plant needs you to leave it alone a little bit, right? That doesn't mean that you've stopped self-care. It means that that item is having its space. And then what else is required in your garden of self-care? So then you look at that list, and you could have this list and you could look at it once a week, or you could look at it every day and go, so what on this list requires tending to today? Oh, my body really requires some tending. Not from that need, not it's depleted, but from awareness. Okay. And the awareness is going to give you hints to the future. Whereas when you go to depletion, you're now functioning from past. You're functioning from a place where something wasn't cared for and it's now depleted. But the awareness is, you know what? I have no need with my body, but my awareness says, body would like a massage. Body would like to have a bath. Body's asking for something. What is that? And you start to tend to that. Okay. You tend to, whatever movement your body likes, whatever that is. If you love the way that you dance, then you're going to get aware of tending to that, nurturing that capacity to dance and to move. And it might show up directly as dancing, but it actually might show up as you are stretching for 3 days. And then on the 4th day, you start to dance. If you were hoping for a very boxed in, defined, linear conversation here, I apologize. I'm trying to show you a universe of self-care that if you can explore this for yourself, you will create something that will sustain you for always. It's a sustainable self-care that will never deplete. And that's what I wanted to get to today, is to look at that and to really have you commit to this sustainable self-care. Schedule it in. Really, I know that sounds funny. And even if you schedule it in and you scheduled in writing time, and then you got to that time and you chose not to write from awareness, acknowledge that you're following your awareness. It's not that you failed. It's not that you didn't do it. You have a new resolution, a new routine, and you messed with the routine. No, I'm not asking you to even make a routine. I'm asking you to schedule in when you require to schedule something in. If you have a really busy, full life, you might have to schedule in going for a walk. That might be something that you require to nurture that garden of self-care, to nurture those aspects of yourself that are actually valuable. And what will happen is as you cultivate this garden and you start to nurture and nourish this garden, and you are aware of the fluctuations, the seasons, the creative chaos of that garden, it will get easier and easier. And you might not necessarily require to schedule it in anymore. It will show up in the creation of your day-to-day. But if you are starting from a place where self-care is not even on the docket, it's not even something that comes to mind until that burnout hits, then you're going to have to start with scheduling it in. You just are. And you'll know when you don't need to schedule it anymore, because you will have so much tending to the care of you going on that scheduling it is irrelevant. Now, the last one is you might actually be depleted already. So this is kind of a offshoot. If you're in that place, then what I would like you to do is I would like you to plan out a day. If you could only do half a day, do half a day. But if you could do a whole day, that'd be incredible. Of what if someone could come along and they could know you greater than you knew you, if they could read your mind and your body, if they could create a full day from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, that would be like this complete nourishing, nurturing, healing, caring energy. Could they do for you? And then I'm going to ask you to do it for yourself. And if you need to get people to help, that's okay. You can ask them. Be specific. Can you bring me lunch? Hey, would you be willing to do that? If not, we can get lunch delivered to us now. It's so cool. I love it. The whole day. You wake up in the morning. If you wish someone was cooking you breakfast, order yourself breakfast. Order a delicious, I'm not talking just a little quickie breakfast, like the breakfast of all breakfast that would just, as you eat it, you're like, oh my God, I feel so cared for right now. Order that breakfast. Do it. Okay. Have that bath. Give yourself that massage. Read that book. Sleep all day. whatever it is. And after you give yourself that day, you do not stop nurturing the garden. Okay. Through that day, I'm going to ask you to make that list if you haven't already. And you're going to start nurturing that garden so that when you refuel, it's not about refuel and deplete and refuel and deplete. It's you refuel and then you expand and you nurture more and you grow more and you have more of you. Ever expanding garden of possibilities. I hope this video contributed to you. I would love to hear what shows up for you if you take action on any of these items. I'd love to know what your first response was. And if you're willing to come back and tell me what showed up for you after you took action, I would be so grateful. Please, if you like this video, like it, subscribe, please share it. It makes a world of difference. And it is a massive contribution to me when you do that. So thank you so much for everyone that has been supporting this channel. I've had a beautiful journey creating it for you. I'll see you in the next video.